Bring it to order with these two down there. What's going on? We got a meeting. Hey, meeting, man.
Go use my office.
I noticed it when Tony's here, there's this. All right, audit and finance. We have some light agenda here today, so we'll be able to move things right along. Linda.
Okay, we're going to start with John Mela.
Okay.
Wow,
Morning, everybody.
Okay.
Morning.
Thank you.
Today's subject is our property insurance renewal. Our policy took effect on September 9th, although we didn't have a corrected version until after our last board meeting. So we did pretty well. The premium is now $283,606 compared to $261,000 last year. Our rates are approximately the same, but our property values are significantly more. We're up to $165,627,000 for all of our buildings, contents, and buses. All other conditions have remained the same. We've got a $25,000 deductible. We have earthquake included in the factory mutuals policy with a $100,000 deductible, and we also have flood insurance. You'll note that the flood insurance is not through the government, it's through the affiliated factory mutual group, but for whatever reason, our property here has ended up in the flood zone.
What am I in?
I don't really understand
creek.
how that happened.
The creek right next door.
The creek.
The creek.
It was added in 2016 to the flood zone.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that continues to reduce our ability through factory mutuals, which we're really getting for free, to a minimum or limit with a huge deductible of $1 million that we can get per claim. I don't anticipate to get any, but it's very interesting. And this is only going to get worse, as you can see from our current weather conditions and problems in Florida. All else is the same. Premium is up, primarily because our limits are up. And if you have any questions on it, I'm happy to answer.
Robert.
When you do the analysis of insurance companies, do you consider their history on paying the claims? Meaning, do you look at when you file a claim, they laugh at you or try to fight it?
We do, and we have been most successful in the very few claims that we've had here. We've had no problems at all. And nobody can beat the FN group for premium coverages. And they specifically insure properties that they feel highly protected, which we are. If you go back in history, we're still, years later, over $100,000 less a year than any other carrier. So our good safety programs and maintenance programs continue to let us take advantage of this particular company. It's really great.
So when there's like upgrades to properties, roofs or whatever, that's always taken into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Any other questions for John? Have a motion? Robert, second, and second Tina. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, John.
Linda.
Next we have our August 31st Statement of Revenues and Expenditures. After 5 months ending August 31st, the consolidated operating income before capital contributions and non-operating expenses is $2.7 million. Our operating revenues currently are on budget and 12% over prior year. Regular line revenues are 6% over budget and 31% over prior year due to increased ridership, currently 14% increase compared to prior year, which was pretty consistent with prior month. Additionally, both New York State Fair, Park and Ride, and amphitheater service revenues exceeded budget this month. Pass sale revenues are still trending over budget in prior year for the same reasons I've been saying, due to the TVM sales and sales to medical answering service. Special line revenues are trending 5% under budget due to lower than anticipated revenues for New York State Fair service to the Orange and Bliss ad lots. And our advertising and other are on budget and 4% over prior year. Operating expenses are $5 million or 13% under budget and 6% over prior year. I'm gonna sound like a broken record going over all these expenses because most of the same explanations, but I'll go through them quickly. Salaries and wages and other employee benefits and payroll taxes are trending 14% under budget, and that's due to the open positions. Healthcare benefits are trending 18% under budget and 4% over prior year. In current year, there are 473 more claims and 6,903 more services than in prior year reported to UMR. Workers' comp is 6% under budget and 20% over prior year. There are 36 fewer claims, however these are high dollar claims realized. Our pension benefits are trending 7% under budget. We did true up the pension contributions to the actual recommendation in August. Risk management is 21% under budget due to a credit received for auto jail claims in prior year and 7% over prior year due to increases in legal fees and claims trending lower than anticipated in budget. Our purchase transportation is 20% over budget, continues to increase, and 36% over prior year. Our vendors are currently providing 82% of the service requested. Some
That
of
needs
these
to change. That needs to change.
It's an operator issue.
I know. And because our purchase transportation people are not great.
We recognize that, and, it's a matter of, we've got a pool of drivers,
Yeah,
and the only service that we can sub out
I know.
is the call bus or the call bus service. We can't, if we could farm out the
Line service, you'd
line
be all
service,
for it.
Be all for it. No, I'm just kidding. But if we could farm, we just can't.
I know. I
So-
just feel like I need to bring it up every time because I send Josh an email every week with every violation that I see on these purchase trans.
He shares it with me.
Does it? So I'm Tina Transit Police.
It's all right. It's all right.
But somebody's gonna get hurt, and doggone it, it's not gonna be me.
And just so you know, Tina, we're working with operations to get our supervisors to be more hands-on with the vendors, doing spot checks, getting back to, now that we're staffed in the operations department, we're gonna start doing that more frequently. Similar to what we had with Letty before her
Yeah.
retirement, so we're
I
working
ju- it's
with,
just, I know you don't hear from that side. I feel like that's my side of the street, and I need to keep everybody in this room knowing that there are some drivers out there that when they pull up, I go, oh God, do I have to get on the bus with this person? And I know it is what it is, but if I keep reminding you, then this keeps it in the forefront of our mind that we have. Because I'm worried about insurance claims. I'm worried about because some of these people
Me too.
make me feel like I could be hurt, or someone could be hurt. Someone who isn't as forcible. I said, put that seatbelt on me.
Yeah, and-
Robert?
Yeah, talking about liability, on the transportation that we purchase, who accepts the liability of the passengers hurt?
We do. I mean, they might add in, Suburban or Blue Chip or somebody as another defendant in the claim, but it's gonna
But
be
it's
us.
us.
It's gonna go to deepest pockets.
Yeah.
Once you use your shotgun, just hit them all.
Yeah, I know Brian and Chris and the team are working on this, they mentioned that, but Tina, we appreciate your comments.
We just need to grow the operator ranks, and Jackie's gonna have some good news for you.
Yay.
Good.
Makes me happy.
Thank you. Julie?
How much, finance is set aside for that particular area in the budget?
How much what?
Finance is set aside for that particular.
Well, it's.
It's about 11% of our budget.
Yeah. Yes.
Is the call bus or the ADA piece of it. So 11% of our operating budget, and then,
Is
as Linda said,
transit
80-some
service.
percent of that goes towards purchase
So
transportation.
operating budget just south of 90 million, so it's gotta be somewhere in that range.
Yeah, we're about 10 or 11 million.
And from memory, that service saves Onondaga County a lot of money when we transport a passenger to a medical event. That was from memory, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
One other question I have. A lot of times people ask me, how do you get a call bus? I don't know all the procedures. To get a call bus to come down, what are the?
They can get
Come
it-
see me, I am the, I am the guru.
She's the
queen.
I'm the guru of the Colobus. Hey, I
They
get
can
to
it
say that
online, and
because.
if they're not technologically advanced enough to do that, they can just call a bus area.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been riding the thing for 45 years. I am the guru.
And call bus has been around for 45 years, so.
Hey, I remember when you only went to Baldwinsville and Liverpool 1 or 2 days a week. I remember that.
To answer the question about how much annually the purchase transportation is, we budgeted about 4.5 million, so that's increased over the years. And currently, that ridership is 19% over prior year.
That's the only thing that's rebounded better than 100% pre-pandemic.
It's because more people are becoming disabled every year, and with advanced medicine, people are still able to function a lot.
And we're getting older.
And we're getting older, but we're getting better.
Yeah.
Materials and supplies are 10% under budget and 19% over prior year. This variance over prior years mainly attributed to the increased cost in our bus parts. Services are 31% under budget due to budgeting services for consulting, advertising, marketing, and engineering that are anticipated but not yet realized at this time. Our fuel is 15% under budget. Diesel fuel was budgeted at 3.5 per gallon, and it was locked at $2.98. Utilities are close to budget and prior year, and our other expenses are 26% under budget and 17% under prior year due primarily to budgeted conferences and travel not yet realized. You'll see that catching up soon. Our non-operating revenues are 6% under budget and consistent with prior year. Operating assistance is 7% or 1.9 million under budget and in line with prior year. Our increase in STOA has resulted in reduced need in our federal operating assistance, and we draw that as needed. Mortgage tax revenue is 5% under budget and 27% under prior year. The recording of mortgage tax receipts is trending under prior year at this time, and we anticipated this. Our investment revenue is currently 412,000 over budget and 457,000 over prior year, and that's due to the treasury bills that we began investing in September 2022.
$500,000, yeah.
Wow.
As of August 31st, our money market unrestricted and designated reserve cash balances are 26.7 million. This is an increase of 11 million compared to prior month, and this is due to the receipt of STOA this month, and also due to a treasury bill that matured on August 31st, which we ended up investing in September. As of August 31st, 8.9 million in investments. And just so you know, after month end, I actually purchased 2 more T-bills at a discount rate of 5.26. Mortgage tax trends, currently 175,000 under budget, 1.2 million under prior year. Our August receipts for the 4 counties are 476,000 less than prior year. Statement of cash flow, as of August 31st, the total cash at the end of the period is 26 million. Invested reserves is 15.6 million, all sources totaling 41.7. And just so you're aware, the monthly operating expenses were 6.7 million in August. So you see positive cash flow this month under operations, and that's mainly due to the receipt of STOA. Any questions on the statements?
Just going forward, so when we resume the airport services and the Rome One Demand services, that's gonna come out of services?
There'll be
Yeah.
operating dollars, yeah.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Questions for Linda?
I'd also like to note that we just received word late yesterday that the new budget director for New York State has ordered a freeze on spending for next year. You know, typically they send out their initial letter on what you can expect for budgeting, and, you know, it's 2-3%. They've not only set a 0% increase, but they've ordered a freeze on any additional spending in next year, so it's gonna be a rough budget year.
I got the call letter at the college through SUNY, and it looks pretty grim for next year, actually, so.
They're estimating a $9.1 billion deficit for the state. Now,
So if this money is already allocated, why would they put a freeze on it?
for this year, we're fine until March 31st.
Right.
We're starting to work right now on the
Next year's.
25 budget.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And they're saying for that fiscal year, don't expect an increase.
Yeah. Yeah, it came from DOB. Okay.
But you haven't heard from the 5311, any of those grants from Craig?
No.
Okay.
So Caitlin's not here today, she's sick, so Chris King will be filling in for her on the 3 resolutions.
She threw you under the bus, huh?
Don't worry, I let her know.
I just saw her shopping. All right, we're gonna start out with the first resolution here. Oh, you know what? I need I'm sorry, motion on the financial statements. We did sidebar. Julius, second. Tina, you next. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving into the Sophos contract here. That's resolution, is that 3A, you got it. 3A, guys. I don't have my A game on. Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Before I get into the resolutions, we did want to bring to the table that the way we present our information is going to change ever so slightly moving forward. This is due to our department using a new e-procurement software. Even though Caitlin's not here, I'll give her the credit that she did procure this earlier in the year. It's been very beneficial to us ever since. In the past, what we used to do is create a vendor listing, email that out in the morning, and then field additional requests from vendors that would want the proposal or the invitation for bid package. This software allows us to not only create that vendor listing, we put it on a portal that automatically gets sent out. Any additional vendors that want that information can also access that through the online portal without letting us know at any time of the day, any day of the week. It could be the weekend, it could be midnight, they can go in and look at that information. So very beneficial to us. Not only does it allow us to do this, but it allows us to track who actually downloads the bid package. So before we would send the email out and we didn't really know if anyone was looking at it, downloading the information, taking us into consideration. So this program actually allows us to see who and what vendors go in there at any time and download that information to give us more of an accurate count on who's interested in these proposals.
What package is it?
I'm sorry?
What is it you're using?
It's called Bonfire. Is the software, yes.
Yeah,
For
I remember that
Microsoft.
too.
So if there's no questions regarding this, I'll move into the resolutions.
Any questions on this? Any questions? Okay.
I'm gonna have several, but not for this meeting.
It is really good for us too.
Let me have let's have a motion to adopt this, okay? We'll get the motion done. Robert, second, Anthony, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Wait, that was just, that was just an
That was just-
announcement.
Oh, just
No,
show
just
me.
report.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, go right ahead.
That was a sidebar.
We'll hold it though, go ahead.
Sure,
We'll
so,
hold that.
this first resolution is for our Sophos endpoint protection licensing. This is a 3-year contract. It is a 24/7 threat response for our network. The contract will be paid for using operating funds. The invitation for bid was publicly let on July 27th. 15 vendors were invited to bid, 3 of which were minority and women-owned business enterprises. In total, 30 bid packages were downloaded. On August 17th, 2 bids were received, with the lowest responsible bidder being Corporate Computer Solutions. There's a full waiver for MWBE participation that was granted by New York State Empire Development, but it is worth noting that Corporate Computer Solutions is a women-owned business, certified business. Therefore, it is our recommendation that the board award the contract for Sophos endpoint licensing for a 3-year term to Corporate Computer Solutions.
Questions for him on the software?
Why is there such a difference in price?
That's a good question. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you why there's a $50,000 difference in it. What we do is we just get a part number,
Yeah.
send that to the vendor, and they give us pricing based on it. There's really no discrepancy. Like, say if it was a service that they were coming on to do, it might be different experience. This could just be the root vendor, or I should say the manufacturer, giving preferred pricing out to a certain vendor. That may be the case with this one as well. It essentially stems from the manufacturer giving the pricing out to these resellers, if you will, and then them passing the pricing along to us as well.
Interesting.
Is there a reason, why is there, if this is a woman-owned business, why is there a waiver?
A waiver.
Does that just come first?
So we're required to put a goal on this contract in the forefront.
It's all standard.
We're required also to contact the vendor and make sure that they would be able to subcontract any portion of this out, even though they are a certified minority or women-owned business enterprise. When it comes to this, we went to the state and basically said it's just a part number that we're looking to buy from someone. There's no opportunity to do that, so they grant us the waiver pretty easily, but we still go out and put a goal on the contract.
As the prime contractor, they can't claim themselves,
Okay.
so it's only for subcontracting.
So the prime contractor
Can't claim themselves.
Can't.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, questions? Once again, motion, move it to the vote. Robert, second. Anthony, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, moving on to 3B, maintenance garage dust removal. Chris?
Yep. This resolution is for our maintenance garage dust removal project. This
Hold
contract.
on to your chairs before you flip it over and see the price.
That's what,
Yeah, I
there's
saw
another
it.
one.
Variance.
Are you kidding? I thought we were buying drones.
Anybody want to get their dusting rigs on?
I
Put
can,
my hat
I
in
can
it.
do this for half the price.
Solid, yeah, oh my God.
So, this service is gonna be paid for with operating funds as well. The invitation for bid was publicly let on June 20th. 56 vendors were invited to bid, of which 8 were minority and women-owned business enterprises. In total, 16 bid packages were downloaded. On July 19th, 4 bids were received, with the lowest responsible bidder being Stalwart Development Group. Stalwart Development Group is the 100% prime performing the MWBE goal on this contract. Therefore, it is our recommendation that the board award the contract to Stalwart Development Group for the maintenance garage dust removal contract. And to get more into the pricing on this, why there's such a big swing from $2 million to $440,000, we sent the proposals to our engineers who vetted this information for us. They did agree that the $442,000 proposal does include everything that we were looking for. They also assured us that they've done work with this vendor before, and they're specialized to do this kind of a service. Also, with Stalwart being the prime on this, they aren't going to be subcontracting any of the opportunity out, which keeps their costs low as well. They're going to be doing all of that in-house.
Okay, questions on the dust? That's why
Have
a
me
lot
in
of.
rags, I'll roll around on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Motion to move this forward, Neil. Second, Tina. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Moving on to something a little bit cleaner, trash removal.
Thank you.
Yeah, good ones this month, guys.
This next resolution is for trash removal services. This is a 5-year contract that will be paid for using operating funds. The invitation for bid was publicly let on June 28th. 19 vendors were invited to bid, of which 9 were certified minority and women-owned business enterprises. In total, 17 bid packages were downloaded. On July 20th, 3 bids were received, with the lowest responsible bidders being Waste Management of New York for the Utica and Rome facilities, and Butler Disposal Services for the Syracuse, Oswego, and RTC locations. It is worth noting on page 2 of the resolution, we did originally include Center of Cayuga on this bid package. Butler Disposal Systems and Waste Management of New York chose not to submit a proposal or pricing on this location. Our third vendor, ESO Consultants, did provide pricing. However, looking at our current monthly rate and the rates that we received on this invitation for bid package, it was determined that it'd be fiscally irresponsible to award the contract for Central of Cayuga to this vendor due to their pricing being so high. What we ended up doing was informally quoting this service out for a 1-year term to make sure that we have coverage for that as well.
We currently pay about $150 a month, and they're quoting 1,700, so that was a little off.
Okay, questions on the trash removal? So we're gonna have a recommend contract award to Waste Management for Utica Rome and Butler Disposal for Oswego, Syracuse, and the RTC for a 5-year contract. Can I have a motion? Okay, Julius, second. Robert, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Good job, Chris. Thank you. Anything else to discuss?
Nope. In your packet, you have the procurement summary, capital program summary, and risk management policy summaries. Other than that, that concludes the A&F
Okay,
agenda.
let's take 5. Thank you very much. Okay, folks,
We can talk more, I have some more insight.
Tell him he's on camera, Tony, be quiet now.
No sound. Okay, welcome to the September 22nd, 2023 board meeting. I'd like to, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Joe Calabrese is going to lead us in the pledge today.
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a quorum present. Our next meeting will be October 27th. We'll have a pension committee, audit and finance committee. The board meeting will commence at 10. Can I have a motion to approve the regular minutes of the August 25th, 23 meeting? Neil, second. Monty, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Mr. Schultz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I provided my written report, was not done in time for the mailing, but I handed it out to the board today. You'll see there that we've got about $19 million spent out of the 38 of the ARP funds. We continue to draw down on those as we are able to. On August 21st, we met here in the boardroom with members from Honor Flight and presented them the check, $674. That was the proceeds that I mentioned at the last meeting. It was from the Boss Wash, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Boss Wash, so that was the dunk tank where the employees paid money to dunk me, Chris, a whole bunch of others, Steve LaRue, Josh Gardner, Jeff, Ramen. So there's a bunch of us hopped in the tank. I'd also like to mention that on September 30th, where this money goes is to provide transportation, airfare transportation to veterans to get down to Washington DC to view the memorials. They go down, spend the day, and then they fly back. It's a long day, but that's where this money goes on the next event, or the next flight is September 30th. I'll be out of town for a wedding, so I won't be able to go. We always send representatives from Centro. I picked 2 veterans to go this time. Bruce Fong, our AVP of IT, he and his wife are going to go, and then Josh Gardner and his wife are going to go to represent Central. They're both military veterans. We had a labor meeting in Utica on July 22nd. We do them regularly here in Syracuse. We thought it'd be a good idea. Chris started scheduling those in Utica, so we can have just regular open communication and talk about issues before they become problems. It went very well. As always, we had various meetings. There were just too many to list out in bulk. Numerous NIPTA meetings, met to discuss the RPM program, recruiting, capital planning. We continue to work with our consultants at IDI. Jen Fair on the fare box replacement. So it was a busy month. I'd like to send out some kudos to Steve Cagle, Brent Dice, and the entire marketing team. They've just done a fantastic job. We've had just a barrage of public meetings. Here in Syracuse, it's been about the ETT results. So we did the survey, got over 1,000 responses. SMTC gave us the results. Now we're going around and doing community meetings to present those results. So I just want to thank them. They're just doing a fantastic job. And then Rome, there was a number of meetings. Brent's going to talk more about it, but I'm just giving them kudos right now for what they did. So fantastic job. And then I've also asked Carol to start working on the holiday party, which will be right after the December board meeting. So that will mark your calendars to stay a little later. And that day, we typically start the meeting a little bit later too, so that we kind of run into more of a lunchtime and you're not down there eating turkey or whatever at 10 o'clock, so. That's it unless anybody has any questions.
Excellent.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
I would like to request that you have someone come to the T&T program and present this to our board.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'd just like to say thank you to you, Chris, the team. Every time the district has concerns or needs to work through some issues, you always come to the table with an open mind. So we appreciate the collaboration. I think it's working out well, and we'll just continue to try to communicate as best we can.
Thank you. It's been a great partnership.
And I've got a kudos to throw out there. Josh Gardner rescued. I had to go to New York City to register for some postgraduate work, and the airlines, Delta does not get my vote of confidence.
They lost mine when I went on vacation.
Well, yeah,
I'm with you.
and Josh and the Call Bus team did I mean, they pushed boundaries out and times, and, you know, when I shouldn't have been able to get help, but I have to say, they look after me. And I think they do that for every long-term customer. And I just wanted to give them a shout out at the table.
Great, thanks.
Excellent. So noted.
Any other questions? All right, going into senior staff, Christopher.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. Two things I want to highlight this month. One took place on September 6th through Clean Cities Coalition, which is part of the U.S. Department of Energy. Centro was recognized at this Clean Cities Stakeholder Summit in Washington, D.C. on being a leader in lowering emissions in the central New York area. This is something we've done for over 30 years. So they wanted to recognize us for that commitment. Of course, with CNG, we know that the big talk now is zero emission vehicles. But you know, back when diesel was the go-to, we set the bar here in central New York with CNG, and they wanted to recognize us for that long-term commitment. A central representative was not there to accept the award, but our local coalition director, Barry Carr, who's been a great partner and asset to us over the years with CNG, especially with Jeff and the maintenance team, and that received the award for us and brought it back to us here in Syracuse. And then the second one is, as fall season hits, typically this is where we start ramping up a lot of our community projects through the fall into the winter, especially last year we kicked off quite a few new ones. So starting October 1st, Central will be going pink to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we've partnered with Shades of Inspiration to collect donation items through the month of October to donate to them. And those items are such as pillows and blankets, reusable water bottle, warm fuzzy socks, for individuals that are going through breast cancer treatments to keep them comfortable and warm. And it's stuff that's theirs. It's not necessarily a hospital sheet or pillow there, so it gives them a little more comfort while they're going through this process. And then we're also planning our Pink Out Day, which is October 27th, which is Board Day. So in that process, we're encouraging everybody on that day to wear pink, including you members of the board if you have it. And after the board meeting, we will take a large group photo similar to we did last year outside with everybody in their pink. And we invite all employees to do that.
What's the date of that one, Chris?
That would be October 27th, so that's after the board meeting, right? You said?
Yep.
Yeah, October 27th, so it'll be that Friday after the board meeting. Last year we did it right out front here. It'll probably be the same, and we're hoping to increase our donation and our participation for this month and this year.
Carol, when you send out the meetings coming up, can you put that?
Yes.
Make sure that-
I know you will. Thank you.
He just told you we were old, that's all.
Exactly.
And as these events continue through the fall and the winter months, we'll certainly keep you guys aware of what we're doing, and look forward to any participation we can get. Any questions, thoughts?
Good report.
That concludes my report.
Linda?
So normally I don't usually talk at full board regarding our departments. You hear me talk about our finances during A&F, but I wanted to start bringing some of the things that my finance areas have that might be pertinent to you or interesting to the board. Just so you're aware, the finance area consists of the accounting department, the payroll department, and revenue operations, all overseen by Melissa. And the procurement department and parts inventory storeroom departments are overseen by Caitlin. And then capital programming is overseen by Tara Spraker. So I just want to have the opportunity to inform you guys about any current initiatives or other ongoing projects in the finance area. This month I have a couple of staffing announcements. We recently posted a position for Associate VP of Finance, and I'm happy to announce that Melissa Brim was promoted on September 1st to the position of Associate VP of Finance.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
With that being said, we'll be posting the Director of Accounting position next week, inside and outside, to fill the open position that Melissa will be vacating. We also had an open position in the procurement department, which we were able to fill this week, which will bring some relief to our very busy procurement department. We hired a senior procurement analyst. He will be reporting directly to Chris King, our procurement manager. And this person will be responsible for daily procurement processing as well as support in the formal contract process. So you'll see a new face going forward in the future coming to the table to present. Lastly, I also wanted to update the board on our capital planning processes. If you recall, last month, Brenda Dice updated the board on her responsibilities in regards to capital project management and mentioned our capital planning committee. This consists of our executive team and other directors and staff involved in the capital planning process. Both the FTA and New York State DOT require us to have a transportation improvement plan. So this committee, we formed it to meet bi-weekly to discuss capital project ideas and other future or ongoing projects that have been incorporated into the authority's capital improvement plan. And as part of our authority's capital planning policy, which dictates the responsibilities of this committee we formed, we will be reviewing the authority's long-term 10-year capital plan with you annually in December going forward. No approvals are necessary for this plan. It's approved at the NPO level. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Very good. Thank you.
Linda. Jackie?
Good morning, everyone. So I wanted to report to you on an audit that we just conducted and went through, which is Code Rule 59. This audit was required due to our high workers' comp experience modifier with New York State. So anybody who is over a 1.2 modifier has to go through an audit every 5 years, basically. Travelers sent an individual to audit our safety policies and procedures, our safety training meetings, job safety analysis, our ergonomic evaluations, accident investigation reports, and any rewards and recognition programs. So it's a very extensive audit that is conducted. The travelers auditor came to Syracuse on site and performed it last week and did an actual walkthrough of our property along with all of the paperwork that was submitted to him and documents, and there were no findings to report to the state. So it was a great, we got through, it was a great outcome, and I just wanted to give a big thanks to Amanda, our HR manager, and Chris, our safety manager, for organizing the audit and the materials requested and assisting in the entire process, with others who also helped to implement and gather all those records. Secondly, our open house. Centro had an open house on September 9th. We had 49 people attend and come to see what Centro was all about, ask a lot of questions, and operate our buses. Out of that 49 number, the potential candidates that we're looking at now, we had a great outcome from the outer properties, actually, this time around. We're looking at 4 candidates in Oswego, 5 candidates in Cayuga, 5 in Oneida, and 17 in Syracuse. So we could actually have a potential class of almost 31 individuals. which is probably the highest that we've seen in the last couple of years.
What do you think? What's your thoughts behind that?
I don't know yet, we're still going through the process, so we might lose
Okay.
a couple of them, but, I just think that these open houses are really starting to pay off. I think the advertising has really helped us substantially. We've really, this time around, the advertising was, associated like in the areas, so in Cuba and Oswego and Oneida. So I think that helped a little bit to get these outer properties because they're looking for a lot of candidates too, for drivers. So it seems to be working. The team has been really, you know, pushing, so hopefully we'll have a great turnout. And what I'll do is our class is gonna start on October 9th. So at the next board meeting, I'll report, you know, the numbers to you again as to how many we ended up with. Any other questions?
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yep.
Steve?
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, members of the board.
Good morning.
Give you an update on ridership. I'll start, as you guys know, we had the New York State Fair this past month. We had some good numbers from the State Fair. We provided more than 360,000 total rides for individuals to and from the main gate of the New York State Fair. That's up 27% from last year. So it was a good year. Our on-site shuttles, we do the Willis Avenue lot and also the Orange lot, 223,000 rides there. That was up 13% from the previous year. The biggest jump we had were actually in our parking rides that we had at Long Branch Park, Destiny USA, and also from the Hub, 137,000 rides. That was up 60% from the previous year. And I think probably the increase in the cost of parking at the Orange lot, which doubled, probably made our services more economical for users, and they decided to use our service. So, very good year. I'll let Raman talk about the operational part of it, but I was out there almost every day, didn't feel like we were stressed or stretched this year. So it was a good solid performance, and we think that we met the community's needs to get to and from the State Fair, given our staffing issues that we've been battling for the past year or so. On to other ridership, general ridership, another good month. We were up 11% overall across all properties. Our city services continue to rebound. Syracuse was up 13%. Auburn was up 21%. Oswego and Fulton were up 12 and 39%. Utica was up 5%, but I think that will change. We're seeing better numbers this month. And Rome was up 14%. So they're all double digit pretty much over the previous year. We're seeing that continued resurgence of people using our services, so it's encouraging. We're probably at a 65% from city services of where we were pre-COVID, and overall just over 70%. So it's getting there. It's getting there. It's very encouraging. As you may have heard, seen, I talked about before, we began service to the airport on September 5th after Labor Day. We're operating 13 round trips per day. We are seeing ridership to the airport. We're seeing that bus stop used. We're early in the process, but it looks very encouraging. I'm very happy that we've been able to quickly get bus stops out there. And the folks at the airport have already put up a monitor that shows our real-time buses going along the route. There's a GPS map there, and there's arrival times right outside of the baggage claim area where people get their bags. So you turn around, there's the bus information right there. So I think it's helpful for those people who are using it from a traveling perspective. But again, the service is really based around workers and getting workers to and from the airport. I spoke with my contact at the airport. And one of the vendors at the airport is particularly happy. They're seeing, about a dozen or so workers use the service. So
those 13 are they mainly from Syracuse?
From the hub. Yeah, the round trips are from our hub. And that allows individuals who use our system to access the service by getting to the hub and then making connections to go up to the airport. On Monday, we've been in discussions with the city of Syracuse to have an agreement to allow city employees to ride our bus services for free, and the city has graciously subsidized those bus rides. That service, and that goes into effect on Monday. We've been in the process this week of notifying drivers, so they become aware of individuals that present a city ID. They will hit a key on the box, we'll count the key, we'll count the ridership, and then we'll then turn those numbers over to the city from a billing perspective. But we're very, very happy for the support that the city administration has given us on transportation initiatives. This is just another example of their commitment to public transportation. It's been a great, between the support for BRT and also this program, it's excellent. We're very happy. And then we'll kick off on Monday. And as Brian had mentioned, it's been a very, very busy month for the marketing and outreach department for this month of September with reaching out to individuals regarding the services in Rome, on demand coming in that location, and also the system redesign here in Syracuse, and with more details on what we did and how we did it. Brandeis.
Can I ask a quick question first?
Sure.
So you know that Syracuse, where city's paying for employees?
Yes.
I know OCC had did that one time. Was there any thought of going back to them to?
Oh, yeah, it's interesting.
We still have
OCC
them.
has reached out to us about providing some incentives for their students. The first thing we did is we brought the flight program out to them.
Right.
And they're very excited about that. That's getting a lot of use on campus and within the city of Syracuse up to OCC. But they've also reached out to us about passes for their students. They do still subsidize a portion of the bus passes for students, so students can buy a discounted central bus pass at the Bursar's office, I believe. But they've also reached out to some additional bus passes that they're subsidizing for their on-campus students who live there, and providing some extra benefits for those individuals. So, once BRT gets up and running, it goes to OCC, and I expect that we probably further programs and communications regarding that.
My question.
Sure.
Were there any increase in COVID?
Of the COVID?
Yeah.
In what regard? With our staffing?
Right.
I do not know that. That would be Jackie, and
No,
she's giving me.
at this point, no.
It has not been. I know there's been an increase in community numbers, I understand that. And I'll say normally what I've seen is, up until this point, when COVID numbers go up or ridership goes down, it's had no impact on ridership this time around. So I think the community's perception of the transmission regarding public transportation has kind of gotten beyond that point. So that's good.
Steve, those transportation numbers, are those reflecting all of our college students back on our buses?
So 65%, so if you take the college students and Board of Education students out of it, we're at 65% of pre-COVID. When you add those in, it's about 71%. So they do, those services are returning. Syracuse University is increased. Board of Education is right where it was pre-COVID. That hasn't changed. SUNY Oswego, for whatever reason, it has become more of a walking campus. So we're probably 50-ish% of where we were.
That'll change in a month.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
I know.
When the wind starts blowing and the snow starts coming,
Yeah.
everybody wants the bus.
It's I don't know, for whatever reason, I still think that Oswego, it hasn't really gotten back to where it was. Yeah, so. Okay.
Just for perspective reasons, you guys love the fair. For us, it means end of summer.
Well, I'll tell you, the state fair season for us begins the day it ends. So, we're thinking about the next year's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on who you ask, you'll get a love-hate response.
Fair enough. Same.
Any other questions for me?
And Steve's spot on. I mean, they literally had a meeting already to recap this fair and then start talking about the next one, so.
Wow.
It's a year-long process.
Okay.
Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Chairman and members of the board. As Brian and Steve have been talking about already, public outreach is where it's at, right? That's what we are doing. We've been doing it for a while, but it seems to have ramped up right now. First, I want to talk about the Exploring Tomorrow's Transit. Again, you remember, this is the project we're working on with SMTC. It's that year-long project where we got over 1,000 surveys in. We've done a bunch of pop-up events. And so SMTC took the results of the survey and of the pop-up events. They analyzed that all and came up with some questions that we wanted to go back out to the public and say, this is what we heard, give us more information. So that's what we're doing now. We're having these community discussion meetings. We've had a couple at Liverpool Library, at East Syracuse Library. We had one this week at Salt City Market, and we've been going back out, having kind of stations and saying, you know, we heard about more questions about BRT, we heard questions about on-demand, we want answers about bike share. So going back out and getting into more details. So the key takeaway in these public conversations is that we've asked specific questions and people want to give us those answers, and in addition they want to give us more information, which is great. So we're listening. We're taking the feedback, we're working on what we asked about specifically, but then we're also looking at, okay, they told us this additional information, and what can we do there to make ridership, the ridership experience better. So a good example is that Steve touched on is the airport. When we asked where people wanted fixed route service to be in the survey and in the first round of pop-up events, we heard a lot of where you already are, which is great. That means people want to go where we're going, and we're doing a good job on that. In addition, we heard airport. We heard that several times, so we have already taken that information and implemented that airport program. Yay, that's the plan. So we've got, yes, sir?
The survey's online and stuff like that?
It, on the SMTC website, which is also linked from our website, you can see some of those survey results, and there's a little presentation that gives more of the results of that first round of pop-ups as well. The survey itself, I don't think is online anymore. The answers are, but the questions, yeah. So that's going really well. In addition, we want to be in Rome. So we went out to Rome for our on-demand conversations, and last week we spent the week in Rome. It was really cool to be out in at a different location and to get a different perspective from a different customer. It was interesting. I'll be honest. I've not spent a lot of time in Rome, and the customer in Rome is different than the customer in Syracuse, and that is a really important distinction for us to keep in mind, that as we're doing all of these programs, especially like on demand that we're starting in Rome and then going to bring to other properties, every customer is different and every community is different. So we asked them a bunch of questions. We were out with our consultant, Arcadis IBI, and we spent the entire week there at the hub and at Walmart, and we went to senior centers and apartment complexes, really just spreading the word about what we're doing, the on-demand service that is coming next spring, and asked them some specific questions about how the lines might work better for them, bless you, what they prefer on cost, what they prefer on timing, and we got some great responses from them. And in addition, like we did here in Syracuse, we've heard other things that went beyond the questions we were asking. So we're now working to compile that information together and see, what are the things that we can do, again, to answer our questions about on-demand, but in addition, to make the rider experience better in Rome. So that's where we are right now. Lots of conversations have been happening, great conversations, even when at some of the meetings in Rome, it was actually very busy. So it was conversations constantly. In Syracuse, some of our meetings have been a little lighter, but even those meetings, I've had 15 and 20-minute conversations with multiple people where they want to give us more information, right? So we are listening, and that is key. So that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
Very good, Brad. I like the motivation.
Jeff?
Thank you, Frank. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. Give you an update on some buses. The Gillig bus is 64 and 19 that are coming up. We're going to have a pre-production meeting on October 4th, which means we come into this room here. We have managers and foremen that will sit at the table and go over everything on the spec of the bus. So they go over all the components. We've got Gillig on the phone, line by line. We sign off on everything that's going to be there. The foremen are very assets to this whole program because they see on a day-to-day basis what goes wrong with the buses. For example, 2016 buses, the body frames on the inside were not painted very well, which caused corrosion. So they pointed this out, and the buses going forward, we were able to make sure that they painted them correctly. And it's in for everything, all the components. If there's an air dryer or something's not working, we can say this one doesn't work, let's try this one. So that's gonna happen on October 4th. The meeting is gonna take usually a whole day. It's an all-day adventure. And then the bus schedule is still on, scheduled for September of 2024, correct? Yeah, that's when they'll be arriving. Okay.
64.
64 CNGs, 19 diesels. And then on November 13th, we got 13 call buses going into production. This is great news because in April, when we brought this to you guys, they said it was about a 12-month lead time. It's coming in sooner. So we'll have a couple guys go out there, make sure the buses are built correctly, and hopefully we'll see them here in December, and we'll get them on the road.
This December.
This December. The 2016 buses that are getting replaced are out of warranty, and a lot of them are actually no longer working. So this is gonna help us out some. And then lastly, on Friday, September 8th, Josh Kidder, Jody Jones, Mike Rice, and maintenance trainers Rob Wells, Tyler Wynn, Matt Grenier, Eric Burrows, and Robert Terry have visited OCC, toured the facility to see their automotive program. Ryan Beckley, the Automotive Technology Program Coordinator, has expanded and brought excitement to the program, which he's doing for the last 2 years. So some highlights they brought to us was currently developing a heavy-duty program with input from local businesses like ourselves and Cummins and other areas, and looking for more partnerships. We're going to have OCC students come here and visit us, and hopefully we can actually get them interested in becoming mechanics. And then Ryan shared his ideas on how to develop a training program, which will be able to help us do ours. And then tomorrow, there at OCC, there's a car show called Cruise and Views, which is from 10 to 1. And we're going to have Jody Jones, Rob Wells, and Tyler Wynn go out with a tow truck and a bus and represent Centro. And hopefully for recruitment, they're going to bring a lot of items to share. And then show them the buses, open it up so students can come look at it and say, hey, I want to do that. So we're really hoping this can help us get some more mechanics in here.
What about SU students? Do you have them also do the same things?
They've never, no, not yet. Not yet. But OCC does have a program for auto.
Yeah, OCC has an auto mechanic program.
Yeah, and that's what we're really hoping we can.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to build on that relationship.
So with that program, so in the summertime, would that be, and if students were participating in it, would it be a paid training for them also?
Maybe. We're looking into a lot of different options and how to keep recruiting.
Some of the dealers, when they did that before, that kind of worked very well.
Right. Because we've had, these open houses, you get a lot of drivers and state servicers coming in, but very rare to find a mechanic. Yeah. And we put it out on the street to say, is there a mechanic out there who might want to come here? We just don't get anybody that's interested. It's hard to find them. Any other questions? Thank you.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Nice job. Bruce?
Good morning, everybody. Our trapeze upgrade to version 21 is currently underway. Last week we were setting up the pre-production testing environment, and that's all complete. The next phase of that involves setting up user access and testing the upgrade. And this testing phase is slated to take about 6 weeks. In our current Microsoft 365 environment, we're looking to change our backup process from an on-prem solution to a cloud-to-cloud backup. The benefit that we're getting going cloud-to-cloud is we have unlimited storage and retention. During our cybersecurity briefing this month, we discussed our vendor of choice for our email security tool. We were talking about it at the last meeting there. It's using AI to take care of a lot of the email issues. We also talked about operational technology, security issues, and we also asked the team to review and validate our PCI security document. Speaking of the email security tool, we've gotten quotes back for the vendor that we've chosen, and we're currently working through the procurement process with a projected go-live date of 1 November. With regard to the operational technology with this cyber team, we're working with maintenance on a project to replace their C&G monitoring system, ensuring that whatever system is installed is done so securely. Lastly, we've gotten all the required quotes back for the driver's lounge, internet, and whatnot, so are hoping to be starting that installation in the next several weeks. And also procurement has awarded 2 contracts for our department. One that I mentioned previously, it's a management server to help with our Windows 11 rollout and our cybersecurity compliance. And lastly, the cabling and equipment installed in our server room. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Keep up the good work. Tom?
Brian. Good morning, members of the board.
Good morning.
So, as several people have already mentioned, it's been a very busy month.
It's tough when you go last, man. A lot of the
All
fun
good
stolen
stuff.
already.
So the first part of the month was pretty much consumed by the fair, and I would say it was a pretty large success. I mean, everyone really came together. It was a group effort. We worked really well with the troopers, the DOT. We employed new strategies to manage traffic, to ensure that there was enough space in parking lots, and make sure that we were able to work with the AMP to ensure that their event went well, their events went well, plural. Yeah, it was just really successful. We've already had a post-fair meeting with the executive team at the fair, and we're already planning for next fair. So, you know, we learned a lot. There were things that worked, there were things that didn't work, but we're going to be ready for next fair. Moving on to daily operations, our fall services have started. We're working closely with the schools and the administration, ensuring all the bus aides are on buses right now. We've hired 10. Actually, I'm sorry, we've hired 8. We're looking to hire up to 10. And those bus aides are already on buses helping on a daily basis. We are filling bus orders for SU games. 27 buses are going to be at the game this Saturday, the Army game. We're looking for 34 buses for next weekend Clemson game. So that's going to be pretty busy. We're working with service development and the training department on several new projects. The airport service, for example, several things have to happen for that to be successful. Operators need to learn new functions. City employees getting free rides next week. There are certain things that the operators need to learn for that as well. So it's been a group effort. We're working with service development and the training department. Looking forward to other things that we're working on. As Chris mentioned, Call of Us is a major focus. We're going to be really increasing our vendor checks over hopefully the next coming months. So hopefully we'll see a big increase in performance.
Tina will be living for you.
Yeah. Another process improvement we've made, we recently updated our after-hours response process. So as I mentioned in past months, we're really looking at every process, every procedure, trying to ensure we're doing the best we can with everything we're doing. We're also still making progress on the risk application, which we talked about previously. That's going to improve our accident and incident process. Hopefully we'll have tablets in place and start processing things electronically instead of being so paper driven. And lastly, I'm not sure if anyone's seen the new driver room. It's not completed yet, but it's getting pretty close, and our operators are really looking forward to it. And that's the conclusion of my report.
Any additional changes that you plan to implement?
Any additional changes in what respect?
And in respect that you said that some of the things that you noticed.
So for Call of Us, I mean, we really want to get out there and
Please don't
work with
hesitate
vendors.
to give me a jingle, because you need to know the real rider experience.
Yes. So we are working on that, and we're going to be ramping up our efforts over the next month. dramatically. The past month has been a little bit crazy with the fair and some other initiatives, but that's gonna be our focus for the next month. That's it.
Great, thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
As Ron mentioned, the driver's room is complete. There's no furniture, but if you'd like to take a tour afterwards, be happy to go down there with you and just so you can see it. It really came out nice, and you'll also be able to see the Market Fresh vending that we have now. So it's not just a couple of vending machines with a frozen chicken sandwich in it. So it's that's going well.
Just can't sit down.
What's that?
You just can't sit down.
No, you can't. You've got to stand up and eat.
Help.
Then the last thing I'd like to mention is that October's going to be busy conference month for us. There's several of us going to the APTA conference in the beginning of October. That's in Orlando. This is an expo year, so it's a great opportunity for us to get in front of literally hundreds of vendors that are selling and displaying and distributing just everything you could think of for transit operation.
Orlando?
Yeah.
And there's no board representation going?
The chairman's going.
Executive decision.
Really?
It's not too
Really?
late, Tony.
Go, Tony, you wanna go?
It's too late.
Coming out from the pandemic. I'm finally coming out.
And then at the end of the month, we have the NIPTA conference in Albany.
No, thank you.
They got a
I'm
note
good.
for that one.
Come on, that's the one that I'm the president of.
One area, just me, one area you probably answered is, since '81 I started, are we planning getting for the changes then, because it's gonna interrupt a lot of services? How are we doing on that?
Steve, you wanna talk to that?
Sure.
It's
So
it's
we-
not gonna be a huge event for us.
So 81 right now, we're getting a lot of, you've seen there's a lot of detours that are going on. It's technically 41, 81. State UT is giving us updates constantly on what roads are gonna change. Right now, it's had minimal impact on our bus routes. So we're gonna treat a lot of this like a detour, like anything, like it's a water main break. So if a road gets closed, we'll reach out to our customers, send alerts out. We'll let them know what changes are gonna be made during the course of time. It's gonna be a little bit of whack-a-mole, as the process moves along. So we don't think it's gonna be a great impact on our service. We'll just handle it like we handle any other road closure.
All right, unless there's any other questions for me or the senior staff, that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good. Those report outs were excellent, excellent. Very informative. Once again, on behalf of the board, I'd like to congratulate Melissa. And it's great to see, it's just great to see people progress in the organization. I've seen that a lot here. And it's great to see young people step up, and we're very proud of you. Well deserved. Okay, moving into our agenda for audit and finance. First motion that was discussed in detail to bring to the full board for adoption was our statement of revenues and expenditures, which I think one of my highlights is the interest revenue that we've created, and I know that the team has worked hard on that. That to me is free money, and with the news coming of some of the tougher times in the state, we're gonna need all that. So that was very good. With that being said, may I have a motion? Robert, second. Tina, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. John gave a good presentation on our property insurance renewal. It pushed up just a little bit, basically because of the property values, which makes sense. Okay, our property's worth more. With that being said, I need a motion to bring that to the board. Anthony, second. Neil, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Chris brought forward three resolutions. The first one was the SOFIS Endpoint Protection Licensing, and it's resolution 3B. And a motion was made to bring it 3A. Sorry, 3A. Rough one today, guys. 3, and it's a short meeting, I'm struggling, and the big meetings I do well.
That's the basics.
God.
You're thinking about
I need more pressure, I need more, I need more stress in my life, I'm a vice president of a college, I'm a president of the college at the same time, I just need more stress right now. So, motion was made to bring Corporate Computer Solutions forward for a 3-year term. May I have a motion? Julia, second. Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. 3B. 3B was resolution on the, on Tina's thing, the dusting of the garage, right?
Yeah.
All right. And,
I'm offering you a deal.
Maintenance garage dust removal. And based on the bid documents, the staff recommended contract award to Stalwart Development Group for the maintenance of the garage with the dust removal. We also had that vetted through another third-party firm to take a look at that too. And everything seemed to be great, so there'd be a award of contract for $442,000 to Stalwart Development Group. May I have a motion? Robert, second. Anthony, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, 3C, motion to accept a bid was discussed for the trash removal, and based on the evaluation of the documents, recommended contract award to Waste Management for the Utica Rome facilities and Butler disposal for the Oswego, Syracuse and Regional Transportation Center, and the area that we're going to handle outside of this is the Cayuga removal. With that being said, a motion was made to bring it to the full board for approval. May I have a motion? Julia, second. Robert, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, that concludes our Audit and Finance Committee agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I can't help myself with the comment, free money. Again, I'm involved with municipal finance, so I
Yep.
don't know if free money is.
Making money on money, right? Oh my God, we gotta do some muni bonds, right? Great, okay, moving on here. Old business. None? Okay, new business. I'm gonna leave everybody with a little story here, okay? So, as you leave today, I knew we had a short meeting, but I thought this might be appropriate. Better all pay attention. One day, a farmer's donkey fell down into a well. The animal cried for hours as the farmer tried to figure out what to do. Finally, he decided the animal was old. Somebody mentioned old today. Was that you, Tony? Okay. Old, and the well needed to be covered up anyway. It just wasn't worth it to retrieve the donkey. He invited all his neighbors to come over and help him. They all grabbed a shovel and began to shovel dirt into the well. At first, the donkey realized what was happening and cried horribly. Then, to everyone's amazement, he quieted down. A few shovel loads later, the farmer finally looked down the well and was astonished at what he saw. With every shovel of dirt that hit his back, the donkey was doing something amazing. He would shake it off and take a step up. As the farmer's neighbors continued to shovel dirt on top of the animal, he would shake it off and take a step up. Pretty soon everyone was amazed as the donkey stepped up over the edge of the well and trotted off. Life is going to shovel dirt on you, all kinds of dirt. The trick to getting out of the well is to shake it off and take a step up. Each of our troubles is a stepping stone. We can get out of the deepest wells just by not stopping, never giving up. Shake it off and take a step up. Remember the 5 simple rules to be happy. Free your heart from hatred. Free your mind from worries. Live simple, give more, expect less. Amen.
Amen.
Just tell people in Washington to do that too.
Yeah, anyway, I was thinking about that, and I said I was with my Central family, this would be good to share today. We're gonna be adjourned, everybody have a great weekend.
Anybody would like to go down and see the